Collins joins us now. Coach, you had your first year coordinating a defense. You had worked toward this your entire career. What were the biggest things you learned last season?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, we could sit here for hours to talk about everything that I've learned, but just learning a lot about myself, learning a lot about the defense, learning that it takes everybody, just a culmination of everything, especially with what Coach does and how Coach, creates our culture as a family. I'm just really excited to dive into year two and get this thing going.
As you assessed year one and did some self-scouting, I'm sure the pass defense was an area you didn't feel as good about as the run defense. How do you get better on the back end?
Yeah, it starts with January. We had to look at ourselves, me first, right? Exactly of what we were doing, what we were teaching. But we started from January on, and we started teaching concepts first. And, what are the concepts of cover 2? What are the concepts of cover 3? Then we can introduce the scheme, right? So when we did our first couple installs, we didn't really install a defense. We just installed concepts. And once the guys understood all that, now we can get them to just plug in the call and get those guys to fly around, get that understanding, and get that mastery of what Coach Fleck is talking about.
A lot of the defense, for me, it all starts up front, particularly the interior guys. Tell me how those guys are coming along and how they're going to help this defense move forward.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge part. I mean, in the Big Ten, you have to stop the run, right? You have to stop the run in order to have a chance in the Big Ten. And those guys, we have a culmination of guys that have been here, right, that don't necessarily have a lot of experience, but their opportunity is there, right? Then we have guys that we brought in that are transfers, that are hungry, that are getting after it, every single day. So those guys have really risen to that challenge. You got a guy like Anthony Smith that's in that room, commanding that room. CJ Robbins doing a great job as the D-line coach of elevating that play. It's going to be really fun to watch those guys get after it.
When you have a guy like Anthony Smith, it's tempting to move him all over the place and try to create some matchups. Is that something that you'll want to do, or something that you guys have said this is what we need to do to give our defense the best opportunities?
Absolutely. We're going to do everything we can to get our best players in the best positions possible, right? So if we need Anthony off the edge, we'll put him off the edge. If we need him inside, he'll go inside. I mean, he's been playing off the edge, 3 technique, 4-eye. He's been playing nose at times. So, whatever it is, he'll go in there and execute. He's been in this system now, going on year 5, right? So with a guy like that, you're able to kind of put him in different spots, and it's very fun to do that.
Wes seems like he's really going to be able to help you at the other corner spot. He's really a smooth athlete and sticky. Really likes to cover guys. Who are some of the other guys that are going to be able to help in the secondary?
Yeah, it's been fun to watch him compete, that mentality that he brings. Then you have a guy like Mike Gerald, right, who played a little bit last year, got his feet wet, right, and now, able to kind of keep growing and keep improving every single day. Guys like Naeem Parrish that are right there. You have Aiden Gooseby, who, played safety for us and then played corner at the last 2 games last year, so you have flexibility there. Simon Seidel's done a great job at corner for us, so it's going to be really fun to see the depth there continue to improve there.
What does Maverick Baranowski bring at that linebacker spot?
He's the heart and soul of the defense. He's the green dot, and we can't do as much as we do without him there. And that's trust. That's trust that he has built. Trust consists of time, consistency, and proof, right? And that's what he brings every single day. His motor, his leadership, leads with fire. I love that guy and can't wait to go into battle with him.
Some priority between now and the end of camp.
Big picture is to continue to master the defense. Again, we started with that concept and then moved on to the scheme. Now it's mastering everything. I mean, basically everything that we have other than end of game is in, right? Now it's mastering those calls, getting really good at what we can really be good at, right? And continue to get better every single day, get that consistent elite defense at Minnesota.
Defensive coordinator Danny Collins. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Good redshirt freshman season for Drake Lindsey as a starting QB. Now he moves into his second year as a starter. Where do you look to see him make the biggest improvements?
Well, there's a number of things that we looked at in the offseason on how he can improve and how he can play better at the quarterback position. The first thing that we really improved on is just his command and his poise at the line of scrimmage. He has a lot on his plate pre-snap. How he commands the line of scrimmage, how he commands the huddle, how he moves everyone pre-snap. And I think the biggest thing you think about with him now is he's not thinking anymore about those particular things. He's not thinking about flipping the protection as much as he was a year ago. He's not thinking about, okay, I got to move this wide out to this spot or this tight end or adjust the protection. All those types of things that you take for granted that they just kind of understand and they know. you go through those growing pains as a young player, and then now you see he's just so poised and so experienced at the line of scrimmage, and he has full autonomy at the line of scrimmage too, and just what we do offensively. I think that's where you've seen the biggest growth.
What's the calculus behind starting a young quarterback, someone developmental within the program, versus the quick fix? Of course, you guys had a great portal quarterback the year before, Max Brosmer. The quick fix is to go out and do that again. How did you guys decide this is a guy that we want to ride with?
Well, it was that first spring when he was a mid-year enrollee, and how he commanded the offense. Even then, we really didn't baby him as far as the offense goes. We poured everything on him that year. He handled it really, really well, and then we saw the growth and the progress in his true freshman year when he was the backup. And then Coach Fleck looks at that position as the ultimate competitor, the ultimate leader, and Coach Fleck wants to grow that person under him, and I think that's huge. And just the experience piece of it, all those 13 games, all those moments, all those experiences that he had, and we're there, and we just got to keep him growing, keep getting him better.
Most of PJ's offenses have been run-based, and that's when he's had the most success. You didn't have a lot of success with the run game last year, but you don't always have to have that. Where does the run game fit in this year's offense?
Well, I looked at it after the bowl game against New Mexico. I took a long, hard look at, okay, how can we improve the run game? I did a lot of different studies on ourselves. I did a lot of different studies on different teams, and what I looked at is, number one, there's two things. I looked at the identity of it. What is our identity going to be? And we determined that, first of all, individually, and then as a staff. I looked at it and I talked about it with our O-line, our tight ends, our running backs. That's where our identity is going to be. And then number two is we're going to get back to being a physical football team. And I think I looked at it that way, where we have to take that step.
You have 3 offensive linemen returning. It looks like the center and the left guard and the left tackle. Who's competing for the right guard and right tackle spot?
We got a number of guys really battling in that position, and I think Coach Fleck handles all those situations as far as depth chart and things along those lines. But I mean, those guys, those young players, and there's some experienced guys, some transfers that we brought in. They're really doing a great job. Coach Callahan's developing that room along with Matt Limegrover. Those guys are really, really working and really, really growing every day.
What's left to do offensively between now and the end of camp?
We just got to keep growing. And I think, number one, we always look at it, we want to take care of the football. We've always done a good job of taking care of the football. We want to continue to do that. And then just like with Coach Fleck, his hit on with our team as far as the mastery piece of it and understanding that and really, really developing the offense and mastering our fundamentals and techniques and plugging that into the scheme. I think that is one of the things where we can continue to take the next step over the week and a half before we enter into our opponent.
Now that we're at the point where you don't redshirt players anymore in this 5-for-5 world, I know that there's some excitement about a number of the freshmen here. Who are some of the freshmen who may make an impact on your offense?
Oh man, that's a great question, because we've had a lot of guys, and even in the wideout room, some young guys of Hayden Moore and Quade Hendricks. They've really done a good job of learning the system and understanding those particular things. Ryan Estrada's really done a nice job as a young player coming in the summer and learning. And I love all 3 of those young tight ends as they've come in and they've really started to learn the system. But I think the number one thing in our program is being a developmental program, and when those guys come in, it's our job as coaches to get those guys ready to play as fast as possible, but number one, play under what the culture is that Coach Fleck wants.
Give us a sense of the quarterbacks behind Drake.
I mean, it's a great room. Max Shikanjansky is a guy that's really, really grown. He came in as a walk-on out of Stillwater, Minnesota, and has really grown and gotten better. Secondly, Brady Palmer, a freshman that's come in, Owen Lancer, those guys have really done a nice job. And then Mike Merdinger and Dylan Wick are in the room, and they're growing as well and getting better every day. And I think all those guys, the quarterback room is such an interesting room because one guy plays. Right. And we always talk about within the quarterback room is they have to support the starter. And I think that's what they really do. Those other 5 guys, they support Drake, they push Drake, they compete with Drake, and it's been a really fun room to coach.
That was a fun day watching practice. Greg Harbaugh Jr., thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.